There comes a season in your life when you have to come to terms with the hard truth. Not everyone can walk with you. I want you to hear me clearly. Some people are only meant to be part of your story, not your destiny. You've been carrying people who were never meant to carry you, and that weight has slowed you down. You've been trying to convince people to stay who were already planning to leave, and while you were giving your all to hold them, you were losing yourself. I know it's painful to realize that someone you poured your love into doesn't share the same vision for the future. But the truth is, holding on to them doesn't make them stay. It only keeps you from moving forward. Think about it for a moment. How many times had you tried to fight for a relationship, a friendship, a connection, only to find that your efforts were met with resistance or indifference? How many nights have you stayed awake thinking, if I just try a little harder, they'll see me, they'll understand me, they'll stay? But the reality is, some people are not meant to stay. Some people come into your life to teach you lessons, to test your patience, to challenge your faith, and sometimes to show you your own strength. They are meant to shape you, not to walk with you forever. You see, life has a way of placing people in your path for a reason, and that reason isn't always about permanence. Some people are like mirrors. They reflect the parts of you that need growth, that need attention, that need change. And when their role in your life is complete, you have to release them, no matter how painful it feels. Holding on because of familiarity, comfort, or fear of being alone is a trap. It keeps you tethered to a life that is not aligned with the calling on your soul. You must understand that letting go doesn't mean you don't care. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. Letting go means you are strong enough to acknowledge reality and brave enough to step into what God has for you. I know some of you are thinking, but if I let them go, I'll be alone. And yes, there will be moments of loneliness, but hear me, loneliness is not the same as being unloved, and solitude is not the same as abandonment. There is a power in walking alone for a season because it forces you to confront yourself. It forces you to define who you are outside of the influence of others. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life happen when you stop trying to fit people into your journey and start walking your path with clarity, focus, and courage. When you let go of those who cannot walk with you, you make space for those who are meant to accompany you, those who are aligned with your purpose, and those who will lift you higher rather than weigh you down. And understand this. Trying to drag people into your destiny who are not assigned to it will only slow your progress. You cannot ascend to the next level carrying the wrong energy, the wrong mindset, or the wrong people. Some of you are struggling because you are still tethered to people who belong to your past. And every step you take toward your future is hindered because you are holding on to what is not meant to walk with you. You have to make a decision today. Are you going to stay stuck in the past, or are you going to embrace the freedom that comes when you focus on yourself and release what no longer serves you? It takes courage to admit that not everyone can walk with you. It takes humility to stop fighting for people who have already chosen their path. And it takes faith to trust that the God who placed them in your life for a season will also bring the right people for the next season. You cannot manufacture loyalty or force someone to align with your vision. You can only do the work, grow, and position yourself for what is coming. When you understand this, you stop chasing people and start chasing destiny. You stop worrying about who stays and starts focusing on who you are becoming. And that is where true freedom begins. So I say to you today, stop trying to carry everyone with you. Stop pleading for people to stay. Stop forcing connection where it no longer exists. Recognize that some people are only meant to be chapters in your life, not the entire book. And when you let them go, you do not lose, you gain. You gain peace, clarity, and the ability to step fully into the purpose that is waiting for you. Some of the people you love the most are not meant to walk with you forever, and that is okay. God has already prepared the people, the opportunities, and the blessings that align with your journey. You just have to have the courage to release what isn't yours to carry. Not everyone can walk with you, and that is your freedom. There is a truth that many of us avoid because it feels uncomfortable, but it is a truth that can set you free. Your healing demands separation. I want you to hear me. Growth, real growth, cannot happen while you are clinging to what broke you. You cannot transform your life while keeping people habits or environments in place that are toxic, draining, or misaligned with who you are becoming. Sometimes the very things you hold on to in the name of love, loyalty, or familiarity are the very things standing between you and the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Think about it for a moment. How many of you are trying to heal while still walking in circles with people who diminish your spirit? How many of you are trying to build your dreams while still sitting in spaces that crush your soul? You cannot put new seeds into soil that has already been poisoned. You cannot step into your destiny while tethered to the chains of old pain. Healing requires space, and space often requires separation. It requires a conscious decision to step away, to protect your peace, and to stop trying to fix what is beyond repair. Separation does not mean bitterness, and it does not mean hate. It is not about revenge, and it is not about proving a point. It is about survival. It is about creating the necessary environment where you can flourish without interference, without resistance, without distraction. Some of you are trying to heal in the presence of people who are still feeding your wounds. You are trying to grow while being nurtured by what is toxic. You are trying to find peace while standing in the middle of chaos. And no matter how much you pray, no matter how much you try, nothing will change until you make the decision to step away. There is a power in solitude that many fail to understand. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is not emptiness. Solitude is a sanctuary, a place where your soul can breathe, where your mind can rest, and where your spirit can reconnect with God and with yourself. When you are alone, you are forced to confront the real you, the fears, the doubts, the pain, and the unhealed wounds. But you are also forced to confront your strength, your resilience, your wisdom, and your purpose. In the quiet, in the stillness, you discover who you truly are and what you were created to do. Some of you are afraid of separation because you think it means being alone forever. You worry that if you step away, the people will never return, the opportunities will vanish, and the life you wanted will slip through your fingers. But let me tell you something, stepping away is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the beginning of clarity, of focus, and of alignment. It is the beginning of a season where you can invest fully in yourself without compromise. And when you do, everything that is meant for you will find its way to you, while everything that is not meant for you will fall away. I know it's hard to let go. I know it hurts to walk away from people, places, and things that once felt like home. I know it challenges your faith because your heart wants what it wants, even when your mind knows better. But hear me today. You cannot heal while holding on to what has already wounded you. You cannot grow while still living in the shadows of your past. You cannot step into your purpose while giving energy to things that drain you. Healing demands separation because your peace, your destiny, and your breakthrough cannot coexist with chaos and toxicity. It is time for you to stop apologizing for needing space. It is time to stop convincing yourself that you can carry everyone and everything while still rising. It is time to honor your journey and protect your spirit. And yes, it takes courage to say no, to step away, and to create boundaries. but the reward is immeasurable. In separation, you find strength. In separation, you find clarity. In separation, you discover the life that is waiting for you, the life where you are not weighed down by others' agendas, where your dreams are nurtured and where your heart is free to soar. So I tell you today, make the choice to protect your peace. Make the choice to create distance where it is needed. Make the choice to stop sacrificing your healing for the comfort of familiarity. Because your growth, your breakthrough, and your destiny demand it. Your healing demands separation, and that is your power. Letting go is one of the hardest things you will ever have to do, and yet it is one of the most powerful acts of strength you can ever take. Release is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of power. It is a declaration that you are no longer willing to carry what was never meant for you, that you are no longer willing to drain your spirit trying to convince others to see your worth. I know some of you have been holding on so tightly to situations, relationships, or even memories that you have convinced yourself letting go would feel like defeat. But let me tell you something, like letting go is victory, letting go is faith, letting go is saying, I trust God's plan more than my desire to hold on to what is comfortable, familiar, or broken. There are people in your life who are not meant to stay. There are opportunities that have already passed their expiration date. There are habits and mindsets that are no longer serving your growth, and yet we cling. We cling to what we know, what we understand, what we think will protect us. But the truth is, holding on will never set you free. Holding on will never allow your spirit to soar. Holding on keeps you chained to yesterday when God has something greater waiting for you today. Release requires courage because it asks you to trust the unseen. Release requires faith because it asks you to believe in the plan even when you cannot see the outcome. I know that some of you are afraid of what happens when you let go. You fear the emptiness, you fear the silence, you fear the unknown. But hear me, on the other side of release is freedom. On the other side of letting go is clarity. On the other side of releasing is elevation. Some of you have been holding on to people who do not value you, holding on to jobs that drain you, holding on to dreams that no longer align with your purpose, and all the while, your life has been waiting for you to make room for the blessings that are already yours. You have to understand that release is not about punishment or rejection. It is not about giving up. It is about trusting that there is something greater waiting for you. Some of you think that letting go means you have to fix everything before you move on. But the reality is, you do not have to fix anything. You do not have to explain anything. You do not have to convince anyone. You only have to have the courage to say, this is no longer mine to carry. This is no longer my fight. This is no longer my burden. When you do that, you invite peace into your life. You invite alignment. You invite blessings. I want you to hear me clearly. Release is a form of strength that most people will never understand. People will look at you and say, how can you just let go? They do not understand that holding on would have killed your peace. That clinging would have kept you from walking in your destiny. Releasing is not weakness, it is resilience. Releasing is not defeat, it is strategy. Releasing is not loneliness, it is preparation for something greater. When you let go, you are making room for growth, making room for love, making room for opportunity, making room for purpose. There are moments in life when God whispers to your heart that it is time to release, but your mind screams, not yet. And that is the battle, that is the test, because the natural thing is to cling to what we know, but the spiritual thing is to trust what we cannot see, and faith is birthed in those moments of obedience when you let go, even when your heart trembles. When you release what was never meant to stay, you are saying to yourself, I am bigger than this moment. I am bigger than this pain. I am ready for the life that is waiting for me. Letting go does not erase the memories, and it does not diminish your love or your effort. It only clears the path. It only makes space for what aligns with your vision, your purpose, your calling. It only allows God to bring the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances into your life. Some of you have been waiting for a breakthrough, a shift, a miracle, but it cannot come while your hands are full of what is not yours to carry. Release is the key that unlocks the door to your destiny. So I tell you today, do not fear letting go. Do not confuse it with weakness. Do not allow anyone to make you feel guilty for creating space for your peace. Release is strength. Release is faith. Release is trust. Release is the power to step fully into the life you were created to live. And when you finally let go, you will discover that what you were holding on to was only keeping you from the glory that was waiting for you all along. Release is strength, and that is your power. When you focus on yourself, something incredible begins to happen in your life. You see, for too long, many of us have been caught in the trap of giving all our energy to others, chasing validation, chasing approval, chasing people who were never going to appreciate the value we bring. And in the process, we neglect the most important relationship of all, the one we have with ourselves. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is strategic. It is the conscious decision to invest in your growth, your healing, your purpose, and your destiny. Because until you put yourself first, until you prioritize your own heart and mind, you cannot truly step into all that God has planned for you. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you tried to please everyone only to find yourself exhausted, unfulfilled, and empty? How many nights have you lain awake wondering why, despite all you give, you still feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated? That is because you have been pouring from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot nurture others fully if you have neglected to nurture yourself. And yet, so many of us are quick to sacrifice our peace, our time, our energy in the hope that someone else will notice, that someone else will care, that someone else will reciprocate. But life does not work that way. Your blessings are not dependent on the approval of others. They are dependent on your commitment to yourself. Focusing on yourself is about reclaiming your power. It is about saying, I will no longer allow my happiness to be determined by someone else's choices. I will no longer allow my peace to be dictated by someone else's drama. I will no longer allow my progress to be hindered by people who are not aligned with my purpose. When you make that decision, you are no longer a passenger in your own life. You become the driver. You take control of your time, your energy, your decisions, and your destiny. You become deliberate about where you invest your resources because you understand that everything you pour into yourself multiplies in ways that benefit not only you, but also everyone around you. Some of you have been waiting for permission to focus on yourself. Some of you have been carrying guilt because you feel like putting yourself first is selfish or arrogant. Let me tell you something. Self-investment is not selfishness, it is survival. It is necessary for your spiritual, emotional, and mental growth. The moment you start prioritizing your development, your mindset shifts. You begin to see opportunities that were invisible before. You begin to recognize relationships that are toxic, situations that are draining, and paths that are misaligned with your calling. Focusing on yourself sharpens your discernment. It tunes your heart to the things that truly matter and tunes out the noise that distracts, discourages, or diminishes you. And here is the most beautiful part. When you focus on yourself, you attract the right people into your life. The people who are meant to walk with you will recognize your strength, your clarity, and your self-respect. They will respect your boundaries, support your vision, and encourage your growth. When you stop chasing people and start chasing excellence within yourself, you position yourself for relationships, opportunities, and blessings that are aligned with your destiny. You stop being distracted by those who are not meant to stay, and you start being magnetized to those who will lift you higher. Focusing on yourself also gives you the power to redefine your worth. You no longer measure yourself by someone else's opinion, someone else's validation, or someone else's approval. You begin to understand that your value is inherent, that your life has purpose, and that your destiny is yours to claim. You stop comparing yourself to others because you are too busy cultivating the best version of yourself. You start investing in your education, your health, your skills, and your spiritual growth. You take the time to heal the wounds that have kept you stuck, to forgive the people who have hurt you, and to release the weight of the past that has held you back. Some of you have been waiting for a miracle to change your life, but the truth is, the miracle begins when you decide to focus on yourself. The miracle begins when you stop letting others dictate your happiness and start investing in your potential. The miracle begins when you step into your worth, step into your power, and step into your purpose. Focusing on yourself is not just about self-care. It is about self-mastery. It is about taking responsibility for your own life and refusing to let anyone else control your joy, your growth, or your future. So I tell you today, it is time to stop waiting for validation from others. It is time to stop bending yourself out of shape to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. It is time to stop investing in people, situations, and places that do not honor your worth. Instead, invest in yourself. Nurture your mind, feed your soul, protect your heart, and pursue your dreams with relentless determination. Focus on yourself, and you will discover that life begins to align in your favor in ways you never imagined. Focusing on yourself unlocks destiny, and that is your power.